Hey everybody, it's Tina with Homewood Nursery and Garden Center in Raleigh, coming at you with some October garden tips. Okay, so first tip is to slow down or stop pruning. This is a time of year when you don't really prune things. If you find things that are dead, damaged, or diseased, go ahead and remove those. But other than that, you could do a little light trimming, but you really don't want to cut right now. You don't want to stimulate growth right before we have fall and winter frosts. You can prune away dead perennials in the garden, and bear in mind that a lot of times there's overwintering pollinators in the dead stems of those plants. So consider possibly having an out-of-the-way place or a wooded area where you kind of just stash that stuff that you prune away from your perennials. Also keep in mind perennials that produce seed heads like black-eyed Susans and coneflowers and lantana that the birds like to eat. So maybe leave those until the seed heads are eaten down or gone. Another thing to stop doing is fertilizing. So it's time for plants to kind of just wind down for the season. In the same way that you wouldn't eat Thanksgiving dinner at 11 o'clock at night, you also don't want to try to feed plants right now at this point in the season. They're getting ready to go dormant or have a little rest. The exceptions to this are cool season grasses like fescues, so cool season lawn grasses, and annuals that you're going to grow through winter for color like pansies and snapdragons, those kinds of things that are going to keep producing flowers through the warmer parts of winter and early spring. Those guys you can keep fertilizing. For the bedding plants, you want to use something that's labeled like bedding plant food. Something like that is a good choice for those. Other than that, you're kind of off the hook for now. So that's good, right? One less thing. Are you growing vegetables this fall? Particularly brassicas like broccoli and cabbage. Now's the time to watch out for caterpillars on them. They will damage those plants. You can use a floating row cover to just cover the plants if you want to. If you're finding a lot of them or getting a lot of damage, you could use something like BT or spinosad. BT or spinosad. These guys will pretty much target mostly caterpillars only. So, and they're considered organic for organic gardening. One thing it is time to do is plant. Now it's a great time to plant trees, shrubs, perennials, anything that's cold hardy. It's a good time to get it in the ground. And we're having a tree sale starting on Saturday the 18th and going through the 25th. So it's going to be 25% off trees. So good time to add a tree to your landscape if you're thinking about doing that. The other thing it's time to plant is cool season annuals like pansies and snapdragons. Get those into the ground before it gets too cold so they can get established, start flowering, and go through winter a little bit more hardy than they would if you plant them real late. Last tip, now's the time of year that you'll see spring flower bulbs in garden centers, and it is a great time to buy those. It is not a great time to plant those. The soil temperatures are still a little bit warm. If you have a warm spell, the planted flower bulbs could get fooled into thinking they need to grow now, and we don't want them to think that. So hold on to those, get them now while there's good selection and you can get what you'd like. And we're talking about things like daffodils and hyacinth and tulips, those kinds of things. Get those now, and then in November, that is the perfect time to plant. And if you're like me, I sometimes get a little overwhelmed in November with holidays and just fall stuff. December is also a good time to do that, which I know isn't really any better as far as being busy goes, but at least maybe you can work it in somewhere. All right, those are your October garden tips. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And as always, peace out and happy gardening.